I'm Sean Adams. Hi, I'm Sean Adams.
And I'm Noreen Morioka.
And this is Designorama. On this episode of Designorama, we're going to talk about community. I think it's really easy as a designer or a creative to end up sitting in your studio all by yourself and be fairly isolated from everyone else.
Well, and the reality of it is that I think when you talk in groups or that you do create that creative community around you, it becomes incredibly inspirational.
I think there's some great organizations that actually foster the idea of creativity and community. One of them that I think we care about especially is AIGA,
Right.
which is the largest design organization in the United States. This year, there were 3 medalists chosen for the AIGA, and the medal is the highest honor that can be bestowed on an individual. You know, starting with the medalists that we should, to begin with.
No, I got it. Our first one would be Michael Beirut of Pentagram, New York.
I think Michael's an amazing human being, and if I had to sum him up in one word, I think the word I would use is advocate. Well, all right, it was your word, you came up with it. But if I had to steal a word, it would be advocate.
Thank you. Michael is incredible at articulating the value of design, about the presenting how about design could change a client.
And the fact that, he's willing to get out there and say what needs to be said, but he does it with such amazing grace. And on top of that, his work is amazing.
Absolutely. And what we love about his work is that it's not overdone.
Right.
It has a really strong sense of wit that's part of it.
And it's smart.
Yeah.
It's really well considered and smart and focused.
Right.
And and like you said, it never looks desperate, it never looks overdone, it just looks right. And then what about our next medalist?
Rick Bellicenti out of Chicago, and his company name is Thirst. Rick is somebody who Sean's word came up with would be fearlessness. And why do you think he's fearless?
Well, I think Rick was one of the first people to embrace technology when new technologies started to really become part of the profession. He just launched into it headlong.
Most designers like the way that their processes are, what they feel comfortable with. And Rick is somebody who's gone out there, has taken technology, and is not too worried about if his work looks digital, but rather that it has a stronger and a deeper message that goes along with it.
I think it's easy to do work that's safe, that everyone likes, and he doesn't seem to go down that path. He's willing to do stuff that's going to really piss someone off, but at the same time, the work's amazingly beautiful. Then our last medalist, Lorraine Wild.
Right down the street from us. If we want to go back to the one word idea, I was going to say crafty, but that's not
Crafty.
That's not the right word.
It's focused.
Focused, and I think she's very skilled. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
I mean, like precision, like a surgeon, quite frankly.
And, in addition to being, as a designer, someone who's taken the idea of book design and moved it into places that no one else was willing to go, I think she's changed the landscape of book design over the last 20 years.
Well, in general, if I have to wrap this all up, the 3 people that we talked about not only are part of the community, who are advocates,
but they're leaders in the community.
Leaders in the community.
Each of them has actually taken the time and energy out of their personal lives and spent time helping others and being aware of the fact that the community needs fostering and needs care to maintain itself.
Exactly.
Years ago, I was really fortunate enough to have served as the head of the medalist nominating committee. And in the process of trying to determine who should be given the medal, we looked at criteria like being a great designer, contributing to the field. But in the end, the thing that sold the final choices was always the idea that, in addition to those things, that they were just a good person. That idea of generosity and giving back and doing what you can for the entire industry. Agreed?
Agreed.
So I would fit into that category, and you would be questionable.
What a dork.